detail in your long and loud, storied career?
Well, my cars were my 63. I got to do this for my 63. Morphed into my 67. My 67 was demolished in 77. Then I started my notchback in 78, and then I had after that I had a turbo Ghia, beautiful 10-second turbo Ghia. I had a series of Myers-Manx buggies, yellow buggy, red buggy. Those were my favorites. But my all-time car, you're gonna love this one. My all-time car would probably be, and I call it, you call it different. I call it the Tar Babe. You call it the Tar Baby.
Yeah.
I grew up around this guy in their shop off of Howell. I think it was off of Howell.
Yes.
They did lots of performance work. If you had anything to do, you went to Fat or Gene Berg at the time to get your parts. They put it together. Daryl Latone was around that time. You guys were working on his Fiat.
Yeah.
If you had money, you had time and temperament to have a project.
Key was money.
Yeah, that was it. So that car was the epitome of probably 99% of the cars out there.
Well, Greg and I appreciate it. But,
Question for you then.
Yeah.
You went from kicking ass on the streets
Yeah.
to building and having fun. How did you become the guy behind the mic?
Oh, long story short, I really had a superb bracket racing career. And to many of those that say that doesn't, equate, tell you what, in the day we used to go 14, 15 rounds of competition before you get into the finals. Okay? I was on my mark.
a lot of cars.
A lot of cars. We have over 500 cars in our class alone. Bracket 3, look it up. And now they call guys winners and champs. They go 2 rounds. Congratulations, but it's not the same. It's a different era. So we had to work through that. We had to, my deal, I had to go through every lane, find out what everybody is running, find out, and I'm terrible, I suck at mathematics. Anybody out there knows, yeah, you know I do. So I had to figure out and get everything within a half a second measure point between 500 cars, who was going to be late in the lane, early in the lane, and what was the question? So anyway, bracket racing was my deal, and I did it on the street, I did it at the track, I had a very good record, and then finally, one of the bug-ins, 1975, I think it was sponsored by my alma mater, Auto House. It was a very, very privileged thing for me to be a part of that because they were the sponsor of the event. And I kicked ass. I went now my 14th round of competition. I was now overall competition eliminator with Dave Andrews.
Yeah.
I'm in the lane. I get my car started. Lane steward comes over and says, "You're disqualified." I said, WTF, if you don't know what that is, look it up. I had to look it up. I don't know anything about electronics. What the ferry go around? Okay, so we trust Brent. So to this day, I never got an answer of why, but he did his burnout in the burnout box, and I stood behind his car with a couple of my friends and said, if I ever get a chance to be an announcer in that tower, this will never happen to anybody. Again, period. Especially the fact that no transmission was relayed between tower to me. Why?
Why?
So anyway, I moved to Oregon the summer after that happened. I was so dejected. I moved to Oregon for a brief period until I ran out of money. And I moved back, and Richard Kimball asked me in 1975 or 6 if I would be the announcer. And I know I told people 78, but it was actually 76 because I had my job at, I had started a job at
Close enough.
Fedmark Corporation as a security manager.
Okay.
And so anyway, I'm trying to get this in because you rate me for 20 minutes here. So long story made short, that's how I got started. And
So the first time in the tower, what was
so
that like
good.
for you?
First time in the tower, I was working with a guy named Crosby.
Because that's your shtick, right? Like you're MC.
Well, yeah. The reason why they got the job is because I was sitting next to the tower while Steve Crosby was doing all the announcing, and I think the guy you're seeing next week, Vic Wilson, they were in the tower during the program, and
the originator.
all they could hear was me in the grandstands. Oh, there's Bear Vitone, there's Daryl Bear. I'd mix the names up, I'd confuse everybody, and they would love it.
Who's that loud guy out there?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Richard said, "How would you like to be the announcer?" And I said, "Well, sure." And so 76 was my first time. It was like a kid in a candy store. It was my calling because of my upbringing in the Volkswagens. When I got to California in '64, it was just on the cusp of everything. This guy and everybody else were driving their, funny-looking cars around.
So yeah, but not just the bug-in. You did the bug-around stuff.
Yes.
You out there at Palmdale, you did that. You did
back east.
Yeah, and
VW
you
Nationals
did in
for
Europe, the European bug-in.
bug-in for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, at the European bug-in I went this year, it's my first time ever.
Okay, go ahead.
So
That's for you
Paul,
folks.
Paul that does the announcements, he stopped everybody, said, all right, we all miss Don. We wish he was here. Everybody, let's practice. And he did.
Who did this?
Paul that was doing
Oh,
the
Paul,
announcements.
Paul,
So
there's
he,
Paul.
Yeah,
Paul
Paul and
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Yeah.
Paul
So they
Dimitri.
got everybody quiet and then
Hi,
they
guys.
had everybody practice 1, 2, 3, ba 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 ba. And then they're like, all right, now we've got it all
It's
down.
not
And
quite
he's
the
like, okay.
same.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not trying to match. I'm just.
No, I'm just saying them doing it.
So,
The
so,
beer
so
helps
then he's
folks.
like, okay, now we're ready. Everybody turn on your cameras. And they did the entire stadium. Everybody
Oh.
seated around, they did a big tribute for you.
You should have been here. That's just,
So-
I was in bed, laid up for a long time. I had a.
So,
Question from Jim Dix asking, will Dino be in Chimay at EBI next year?
Jim Dix, if you still have that beautiful tan Volkswagen, I hope to be there. I hope to be there to drive that
drove
car
that.
one more time. Nice car, nice guy.
Did you
Thank
see
you,
his
Jim.
Kia? So Jim's just
So,
it's beautiful.
Smart guy.
so tell us about being the bug-in king. You entered the contest.
Yeah, 1980, Al Martinez and all those goofballs were, putting on the bikini contest, and a friend of mine said, Vince, you can't do it. And I said, oh, yeah. But I didn't take a certain personality to rip off your shirt and be in front of people with chicken legs. And so, out of the 15 people, they made me the winner, and
Yeah, of course
I
they
loved
did.
it.
So you were always a sex symbol even before the frisbee? So tell us about the frisbee. How
The
does it
frisbee,
feel?
the frisbee shot, that was done by Jared Al-Hadif, our late buddy.
Yeah, missed you
I
there.
tell you, I
Missed you.
spent the last day of his life with him. Sleeve. Look at Jared. Give it up. And we took Gary Berg's car to Craig Park in Yorba I think you were
Yorba.
And I took my clothes off and took a shot with a frisbee after the closing shot of Gary's car for the magazine and
Who
everything
said,
else
let's
they
go
did.
do this?
Was that? Yeah.
You're like, we're gonna go, hey, here.
I said, hey, what the heck. So
Easily persuaded,
Yeah,
I think is really what it was.
So, the funny part is, as soon as the snapshot was taken, we see a police officer pulling in with a patrol car. So I got everything dressed up, and we're just sitting there with those smickers on our face. And the patrol officer says, how's everything going? Is everything going all well? And I linked to the officer and says, we barely made everything, thank you. Barely made it. He doesn't know it. Just a little stick, thank you.
So-
Next. It was fun. It was fun.
So basically, you had to not get excited,
No.
otherwise you wouldn't need a
Yeah.
bigger frisbee.
Yeah.
Luckily it was cold out.
The frisbee, thanks to Gene Berg, it was a Gene Berg frisbee, and the thing's gone viral. All of you all over the world, thank you for buying the frisbees. They kind of offset some of my expenses early on in the early.
So we have a
days.
frisbee in the parking lot after.
You don't want to use that one, I guarantee you. Next.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Which camera are we on? Which camera?
Yeah, you're right there. Any of the memories you want to talk about? We've got an audience here that's, and an audience here that would love to hear. Anything, your thoughts on,
Do you have any other questions, Greg? Or comments?
There's a lot. I want to know if Dino's going to Jersey for Flanders.
Of course. Flanders happening, folks.
Take me with you.
Thanks, my friend Jeffrey Hicken, who hooked me up 15 years ago. Thank you very much. Great family event. Love it. I will be there.
Rick Meredith asking, tell us about your club.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's a little early, but April.
Well, I do have a funny story. I had a friend of mine named Brian Vaughn, who I was in Der Gutnein with. We did karate and boxing growing up together. He was not the kind of guy you want to mess with. So you light him up with a beer and he gets a little funny. Anyway, we had my 1600 that I did, like I said, the fast one, and I just transplanted everything into my 67 in 1975, I believe it was, or 73. And we were at Disneyland, and a car full of kids in a Honda ran us literally off the road. Well, you don't do that to me. You don't do that to my friend either. So he says, hey, do you mind if I drive? I says, have at it. I've never to this day, had anybody drive a car like this madman did. We ran every freaking stoplight from Disneyland till we got to 17th Street, which is a good, what, 3-4 miles down the street? Well, folks, guess what? Here was the little Honda at a stoplight. They couldn't go anywhere. They were boxed in. Guess what we did? We got out of the car and beat the living crap out of the whole damn car. Something they'll never forget for the rest of their life. You don't mess with me.
Oh, wow.
I-
Another side of Dino we didn't know.
Not into imports, not into vans. I'm a purist.